Good morning, Puckers! Oh my God, we're running out of time with this show. Thank God hockey is not far away. But there is one tonight. I'm Lawrence Presman, the Prez. Dave Koken with us. Andrew McGinnis and Carmine Bianco. I'd like to say hi to everybody. Anthony M. Chance, mixed by post. Guys, I can't thank you enough for joining us. I missed you guys. Carmine, let's start with you. How are you, brother? What's going on in your world?
Doing good. Renovations are finally over. Trying to get everything set up now. So my wife, who's now working from home, has her own office and doesn't use mine. Ton of action happening. All is good.
Excellent stuff. Andrew McGinnis, you still rolling, right?
Yeah, still pretty hot. Cooled down a tiny bit, but the good news is when I did cool down, it was pretty much just one play a day.
Yeah, what happened there? Oh, we're having weird Skype situation.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well too.
Anyway, Andrew, continue.
Yeah, still looking at around plus 64% ROI on the last 30 days. But more importantly, I have 5% NBA play going tonight. I haven't released too many 5% plays since the bubble has started. But, right now, last 30 days of action, like I said, 68% actually bankroll increase. And since August 20th in the NBA, 35% bankroll increase, hitting at a 63% clip. So, I won't just speak for myself. It seems like everybody right now at WagerTalk.com is rolling it. It's just a great thing to see.
Yeah, that is for sure. And Dave Koken, what's going on, brother? You lost a bet today about a few minutes ago. North Carolina Charlotte game. You were all over it. They canceled it due to something called the COVID.
That was a $2 play. Was on North Carolina. And the game got canceled. It's welcome to life in 2020. So I don't know what we're doing about that, but fortunately nobody paid much for it. $2. We'll do something.
And the other good thing is, me and you don't need to worry about it. We've got an incredible world-class customer service team, and
so they'll figure it out. I do have a 4% play up, and those. If you're on for a package, you got that game at what is now going to be a great line. Because I knew what was going to happen in that game. It's not that I got information before anybody, but I got it really quickly and made a play based on that. And then I have a 5% play on one of the big games this weekend. And those speak for themselves. I mean, 5% plays are 72% over the past 12 months, all sports. So hopefully no cancellations there.
Yeah.
And, baseball, Major League Baseball last week has sucked. But outside of that, everything's been good. So no real complaints.
He's Dave Koken, Carmine Bianco, Andrew McGinnis. I'm the Prez. All of us can be found at WagerTalk.com. We've got one game tonight, Vegas. Oh, Lord. Okay, you know what?
I wish.
Carm, take the show over, Vegas.
I wish.
I don't want to take the show.
Tampa Bay, New York Islanders. We already have one guy up there saying let's Islanders in 7. Guys, I've got a 5% play up tonight on this game. I'm 4-1 in the NHL playoffs in 5% bets. I'm also like Dave, 25-10, 5% all sports run over the last 12 months. And like always, for you guys, I created a promo, Prez NHL 15. That's Prez NHL 15. Please, guys, go buy this play. Seriously, I am winning this play. I'm telling you, I'm winning this play, or I will do the next puck time draped in a Montreal Canadian flag. I'm serious. Flat out, Andrew, you have my word. The whole of puck time.
I wish I could believe you. I really want to.
No,
I
I'll
pinky
hold
swear,
I will hold on.
and I swear on my children that if this play loses, I will do the show draped in a Montreal Canadian flag. Swear.
Well, if that isn't a reason for someone to go buy this pick, I don't know what is.
But I have to have a bunch of sales. and I will define a bunch. No, not true. I will be in a Canadian flag if this Montreal Canadian flag if this play loses. Swear to God, on my life, swear to God, swear to God. Guys, let's get to it. I'm not going to say a word about this game. You want to know my opinions? You go to WagerTalk.com, you buy them. I don't do this very often, but there's only one game, and I got a monster bet on it. Dave Koch, and I'm going to go around the horn. And after this, after we take apart this game, guys, we're going to delve a little bit into parlays. Dave, I don't know if you got my email last night, but I want to.
Yeah, I got it.
I want to go through that email. I am fascinated by the math. Dave Kochen, take this game apart. You know the lines. You know everything. There's one game. Go.
Well, I mean, I got scheduled to be on the show this morning, and it's like I don't know how to take the game apart, because if Point's playing, I think the series is over, and if Point's not playing, I think there's going to be a game 7, and I don't know if Point's playing. They're different. They're a completely different team without him. You know, because now they're used to playing without Stamkos at this point. But Point is he's been tremendous in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you got to have offense to beat the Islanders, because they're going to beat you if you play their game. If you look at this is why shots on goal are such a misnomer at times, because if you look at the last game, you say, oh, it was a pretty even game. It wasn't. After the first period, and the Islanders led 1-0 after the first period, despite the fact that they really didn't play that well the first period. I mean, the Islanders were the much better team the rest of the game in terms of implementing the style they wanted to play. It's amazing how disciplined that team is in terms of adhering to their system, or the Trotz system, if you will. They just, I lost the game. Fortunately, I played it on a puck line, so that was a plus 150 or 160, whatever it was. So I didn't lose any vig. I'm not making the same. I'll call it the same mistake again. They might win and cover the puck line, but I just don't have any faith in them without Point. And the Islanders are on a free roll right now. I think they're a little bit dangerous here.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. And yeah, Braden Point, he's going to be just crucial. And Andrew, you probably know this. He was drafted pretty low, right? I mean, he was just like a found poutine, if you will, right?
I don't think it was too high, but it wasn't like deep in the draft.
So it wasn't poutine; it was just fries with gravy.
Yeah, just the cheap stuff, the bad cheese. But to elaborate on Dave's point, I think that you don't always want to believe those stats until you really see it happen. And with this example here, I mean, it's just I think it's 0-3 in the playoffs without Point. And then they lost their one game without him during the regular season. It's just something that you can't ignore. First and foremost, I just want to say I lost my 5% bet on the last game. I did take the over, and the New York Islanders, just like Dave was saying, they're so disciplined. You could just tell. The second that puck dropped, in about halfway through the second period, I was thinking to myself, and I'm not someone that ever gives up on a bet. Never, out of anybody that I know. But the conservative style of play that these two teams, not even just the Islanders, the conservative style of play, once the Islanders scored their goal, they have absolutely no issue, no problem at all, just locking it down like maximum security prison. I mean, that's all it was. I mean, it was like they were lining up 4 guys at the red line and, challenging Tampa Bay to go at them, and they just couldn't really do much about it. Now, we have an example here of kind of what we saw last series now with the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, we got, except for obviously Tampa Bay is leading, but the opener was minus 145, gets shot up now to minus 160, 165, 170 at some spots here. Then you have to ask yourself, did the Islanders impress you enough to make a wager on them again here? The way I look at it, if you like the Islanders to win this game, I would go ahead and make a wager on them to win this series and then see what happens in the game 7. The way I'm going to look in this one, I do have some prop wagers, as we stated we're going to go over. The first period, under 1.5 goals. It's something that I looked at a couple times with the Islanders during the playoffs. I've had a few losers with them, of course, but I think here in this situation, both teams are going to be kind of on their heels and be afraid to make the first mistake. And this game could possibly open up in the second period. So if I was playing this game, I'm looking at the plus money. I'm avoiding the favorite here and looking at the Islanders and seeing what Tampa can do. But I actually am more involved in some props, guys. For the record, I hope people can still believe my opinion. I've been cold in the NHL. It's hard to pick these games when it's conference finals or conference semifinals. Of course. I was on a roll to start the playoffs for the first few rounds, and that's why all my clients are noticing it's more MLB, it's more NBA. I'm having more success with those. So apologies to those that are NHL with me. I hope we enjoyed the success early on.
Yeah, and it's such a great point, Andrew. I mean, I passed, last New York Islanders game. I passed in one of the Vegas Knights games. Yeah, it's hard now. Things are, teams are evenly matched. Anybody can win a game. Carmine Bianco, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm going to echo what Dave says. I think before you make a play, if you're going to, if you're just betting for the sake of betting, then and you're not putting a lot, then you go with who you like. But you've got to see what the status is on Braden Point. That's 25 points out of the lineup if he's not there. They've lost both games that he's missed. He's got 9 goals, 16 assists. And to answer your question from before, he was the 79th pick in the 2014 draft. But yeah, they've lost both games with him. Cooper's the kind of coach that he's going to protect his players. We've seen it. Obviously, Stamkos hasn't come back to play, but he has no problem sitting a guy in Game 6, believe it or not, because he still knows he's got Game 7 if he needs them. And the other thing here is with Kucherov. If you notice, Kucherov missed some of Game 5. He's banged up. He didn't look good on the ice when he was there. So you want to make sure these guys are healthy. As far as the total goes, let's look at some stats. Last 19 Lightning games, which is every single game they've played since the restart. The one exhibition game, the 4 placement games, and every actual playoff game. 19 games, the under is 11-5-3. The under is 3-1-1 in Tampa's last 5 on a day's rest. 5-1 to the under when their opponents score 2 goals or less, which happened in the last game. So there's a lot of stats that kind of lean you towards taking the under, and kind of like Andrew said, you watch that last game, and by the time the second period rolled around, even though you don't want to give up on bets, you can tell that there's not a lot of great offensive chances in the game. And if they're not taking penalties and they're staying out of that box, and we don't get a lot of those 5-on-3s, 5-on-4s, then it's going to be tough to see a lot of goals in this series. Yeah. As far as the Islanders, when they're a dog in their last 74 games, they've gone 48, 21-5, 70% to the under as a dog. So there's a lot of stats that lean to the under, and the under is plus 105. Yeah. It's because in these closeout games, you expect a lot of scoring in that third period. But if the game is tight, you're not getting that scoring. So I'm looking at the under here, and I'll take the plus 105 and under 5 goals.
The difference in hockey and basketball, and I could be wrong with this stat, I think Denver and LA Clippers did go under the total in Game 7. And I think that's 19 unders in a row in Game 7s of the NBA. But I could be wrong, but I think that's 19 unders in a row in Game 7s in the NBA. Guys,
I'll say this: I haven't been on the NBA show, and I'm trying to get on the NBA show, and I'm hopefully going to be. But if you're betting unders in the NBA,
even I know
I think you're playing full game. And if you're betting overs, play the first half. Dave and I talk about on our baseball show, it's vice versa. If you want an under, take the first half. You want an over, take the full game. These teams care way more about defense come the second half. Yep. It's just a shootout in the first half. You want an over in the NBA, guys? Take it in the first half.
Okay, boys, a little bit more stuff to talk about. Anthony M., I appreciate you buying my package. As far as the show Cursed, I just started Secession, which is really interesting show. My God, the main character, the guy, just awesome. And the acting in that show, especially Brian Cox, the old man, that is high-level stuff. I mean, that is like Dave Koken of acting, Carm. So I will...
Is that Brian? It's not the same Brian Cox that used to be the linebacker for the Miami Dolphins.
He became white, turned himself into 90 years old, and is a legendary Academy Award actor. Same guy. Okay, right, guys, so what I want to do, I wanted to make mention. Guys, I have a 5% play in college football on Saturday. The reason I'm telling you that is I have one on Thursday and one on Saturday. Instead of buying my NHL play today for the $25, if you use promo code Prez NHL15, just get my 3-day all-access pass for $69. That is the most effective way to play me over the next 3 days. I want to go through this parlay stuff, and then Andrew, you and Carm, you guys have some props for us?
I do have some props.
Let's do this parlay first. So yesterday on the NFL presidential address, and guys, you got to watch that show. It's really good. I mean, Matt Joseph and Ralph, masterpiece. They are so good. It is ridiculous. So make sure to watch that show. But listen, I'm going to give you the general perspective. A gentleman named Shimatri66 put up a response. I went on a rant on the presidential address against parlays, and he put up a response showing me that 3-team parlays are actually the most effective way to bet, better than single bets. So I regale you with the math. It took me a little while. So the bottom line is his entire argument is predicated on the notion that we're going to do better than 50-50. He says everybody is always looking at parlays as each bet is a 50-50 proposition. But if you didn't have an edge and every bet you made was 50-50, you shouldn't be betting at all, single bets or parlay bets, because ultimately you'd lose your money. So the assumption is you have an edge, and therefore each bet is not 50-50. So he uses the number of 57. He says, let's assume you go 57%. Dave, is that where it all goes?
That's the end of his argument. That's the end of his argument right there.
Is that where?
Who the hell who it's 57% lifetime? Nobody.
So that's where the
Prez,
argument.
I get where you're going with that. I have a friend that he has a master's in stats, and we were actually literally discussing this yesterday. And he doesn't really do too much sports betting, but he just plays the pro line in Canada. But he was talking about how mathematically the 3-teamer is the smartest
that everybody knows.
It's dumb to do the 2-teamer. 3-teamers is better, but the funny thing is the whole 57% thing.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Andrew, you lost. Sorry, I have to jump in. Andrew, you lost the argument when you said that he plays pro line in Canada. Anyone who plays a government-run sports lottery betting, the odds are terrible.
I know, but he's not a gambler. Like he does it for fun, for like $2.
Yeah, still, I'm just saying.
Dave.
It all boils down to this.
Dave.
Okay.
John Wood just logged in. He said customer service already gave him wager bucks for your play. So we're totally on top of it, brother.
There were a lot of people who bought
let me just hit 100 miles an hour run.
Anyway, we'll just cut to the chase.
Okay, the bottom line is he worked out that 50. You go, Dave. Go.
Let me finish. It's one sentence. The argument is rendered useless when the guy says, if you hit 57%. That's the end of the argument.
Okay, so we'll make it easy, people. If you want to know what his argument is, it's inside of the NFL presidential address. There's a comment there. He lays out the math. In all seriousness, I agree with Dave. It falls apart on the 57%, but it is still worth a read. It's very well done, Dave.
Yeah, if you like math, but it's irrelevant math.
Okay.
It's irrelevant. Look, I'll give you an example. Now, in college football, the last 3 years since I joined WagerTalk, I'm at about 61% on all my college football plays. That's the best percentage at WagerTalk in that time. And it's not that much more than 57%. It is. I mean, if somebody told me right now, I'm going to give you a lifetime guarantee that you will win 55% of your wagers, I'd sign on the dotted line so fast to make your head spin. Because if you just win 55% of your wagers, period, you make a shitload of money. Okay, these guys would. Well, if you hit 57%, yeah, listen. If I was 6 inches taller, I'd be 6 feet tall, but I'm not. Okay, I mean, it's just stupid. It's stupid.
I love this show.
Okay, boys, let's move on. Hey, Vivi.
I get it, Dave. Dave's right. Dave's absolutely right, though.
That's why I wanted to talk about it.
It's mere percentage points, the difference between obviously a winner and a loser, but also someone smart enough to have multiple outs that you can shop a line and juice.
And that will.
One other thing.
That's a great point, Carm.
I'll grant you that you get slight edge in terms of 3-team as opposed to 2-team, but you're still taking the worst of it in comparison to a straight wager, mathematically.
Yep.
You just are. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, he can come up all the numbers he wants. He's
no
wrong.
No mas. I give up. But Carm, you made a really good point about the outs because you can't take a parlay across different books. That would be fun.
No, it wouldn't.
My Vivian is logged in and watching us today. Andrew, props for this game tonight. Talk to me.
Yeah, so this is one that I used for the Vegas Golden Knights elimination game. I think it's applicable here. Not like it's an elimination game for Tampa. However, I feel like they're going to feel like it is, and they have to win this one right now. Most books do offer this one. It's Tampa Bay over 29.5 shots. I think they have around 34, 35 shots in the previous game. And that was still relatively conservative. They weren't firing everything on net in the third period like they should have been. They're being too passive. They're passing the puck around far too much and just, not trying to find those lanes. I really like that one, guys.
I do too.
Over 29.5 shots for Tampa Bay. Another one that I have here, and this is one where you have to kind of have a book that offers different props, but Victor Hedman over 2.5 shots plus 115. He cashed this like late in the second period in the previous game, and we're getting a plus 115 price with a defenseman that jumps into the rush almost every time he's on the ice. That's another one I'm really, really strong with. And here's one that I don't want anyone to play, too strongly. Obviously, manage your bankroll. Jean-Gabriel Pageau, anytime goal scorer, plus 300. This guy has turned into the heart and soul of the New York Islanders. He's always buzzing around the net, and I feel like, if they have a heroic goal, a well-timed goal, it'll be from Pageau. But more than anything, I like the price here at plus 300.
That's great stuff, dude, and I like 2 of those 3. Carmine, what do you got?
I'm going to give you 3 different props here. These are going to be based on just a couple things. We'll look at the Victor Hedman one first. If you believe Tampa Bay is going to win this game, okay, if you have that belief that it ends in 6, you can take Victor Hedman over half a point. Okay, so he just has to record. Correction on this one. This is a plus minus one on Victor Hedman. Over a half plus 138 is the price for Victor Hedman to be to have a positive plus minus at the end of this game. 4 of the 5 games, he has been a plus 3, plus 1, plus 2, plus 1. The only time he was a negative was in that 5-3 loss. If you believe they're going to win, he's going to be a big part of that team winning. So you can take him to be plus 1 or more and get plus 138 on your money. But this is if you figure Tampa Bay is going to win the game, obviously. It's very unlikely he's going to be a negative and they win the game. Nikita Kucherov, I mentioned earlier that he sat out some time. If he's healthy and ready to go, you can take Hedman over 1 point minus 106. He's got points in 4 or 5 in this series, And it's similar reasoning to the previous prop. If you figure Tampa's going to win, Kucherov's probably going to be a big part of that. To Andrew's thing on shots on goal. The game total for shots on goal is 60.5 minus 112 either way. So far in this series, they've picked it up since game one. 58 shots in game one, 49 in game two, 72 game three, 63 and 61. I know in game five, you have to look at it that there was 20 shots in overtime, but that counts towards your play. It's not based on 60 minutes of regulation. It's based on the whole game. So in tight games like these ones that could go to overtime, over 60.5 is not a bad play. And that number is right where it should be, because if you take all of those numbers that I gave you and divide by 5, it comes out to 60.6. So it's right there. They've got it there. So yeah, over 60.5 is the final prop. Victor Hedman to be +1 or more at +138, and Nikita Kucherov over 1 point minus 106. If he gets a point in that first period, you're pushing right off the bat with a chance of only winning and not losing.
Okay, awesome stuff. Guys, let's call it a show. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow. All three of you good. We'll talk either Tampa Bay at New York Islanders Game 7 for Saturday or the Stanley Cup Finals. You all good? Roll call, Dave.
It is the 100th birthday of the National Football League today. Happy birthday, NFL, and thank you for entertaining me for all these years. It's a fun league.
Okay, so I'm going to assume
that was very
that's a
genuine
yes.
of you, Dave.
It is. I love watching the NFL.
I'm going to
Tough bet,
assume
but I love
that's
the
a
league.
yes from Dave. Andrew and Carm, you good for tomorrow?
I'm like 89%.
Okay, and Carm's 100. Love you all,
I'm 100%.
everybody. Make sure to check out WagerTalk today in half an hour. Dave Koken will be on that show to talk college football. Matt Joseph, we're going to do a prop shop. We're going to do all NFL props as well. And, of course, Ralph Michaels. Teddy will take apart the Miami-Boston game. That show will be jam-packed with information. Love you all. Thank you guys for your time this morning. And best of luck. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern.